All rise. Cosmic Court is now in session. The Honorable Universe presiding. The Cosmic Court now calls case number Cosmos-2026-06-E, the Universe versus Ferdinand, the sign of Taurus. The defendant has declined to hold the booking placard. The bailiff will read the charges aloud. The defendant is charged with refusal to submit to cosmic healing. Additional charges include chronic immovability in the presence of necessary change, emotional trespassing by sitting on a wound and calling it a chair, and contempt of cosmic court, ongoing. Ferdinand has been summoned to appear before this court because on June 19, 2026, Chiron enters Taurus, and Chiron is not visiting. Chiron is moving in, unpacking boxes, and putting things on shelves. This transit lasts until 2033. The wounded healer just got a permanent address in Ferdinand's house, and Ferdinand has not agreed to this arrangement. And that is why we are here. Ferdinand, fixed Earth, ruled by Venus, known to the court as the zodiac's immovable object. Not stubborn. That word implies effort. Ferdinand isn't pushing back. He just isn't moving. There's a difference. Stubborn is active. Ferdinand is geological. On a good day, Ferdinand is the most grounding presence in any room. Steady, reliable, patient. The kind of person who makes you feel like the world is solid just because they're standing on it. When everything is chaotic, Ferdinand is the person still sitting in the same chair, drinking the same coffee, completely unbothered. And that calm is real. It's not performed. On a bad day, that same immovability becomes the problem. Because Ferdinand doesn't just stay still when things are calm. He stays still when things need to change. He stays still when the ground is shifting. He stays still when staying still is the thing that's hurting him. And if you point that out, he'll look at you like you just suggested he relocate the sun. The court will now review the case file. Ferdinand has been comfortable. That's the problem. Not comfortable in the good way. Comfortable in the way that means nothing has forced him to move in a while, so he's decided movement isn't necessary. He has built a life around staying exactly where he is, and he has mistaken that stillness for stability. June 19th changes that, and not gently. Let's look at the evidence. Exhibit A. Chiron enters Taurus, June 19, 2026. Chiron is the wounded healer. Wherever Chiron goes, it finds the wound you've been sitting on and it says, we need to talk about this. Not loudly, not dramatically. It just won't let you forget it's there anymore. Chiron hasn't been in Taurus since the late 70s. This is a once in 50 years transit, and it's landing on the sign that has spent the last several decades perfecting the art of not looking at things that hurt. Here's what Chiron and Taurus is going to surface. Every belief Ferdinand holds about what he's worth. Every quiet fear about security, money, stability, and whether the ground underneath him is actually solid or just familiar. Every time he stayed in something too long, a job, a relationship, a habit, a version of himself, because leaving felt like losing, even when staying was the thing doing the damage. Chiron doesn't rip the wound open. That's not how it works. It just makes it impossible to keep pretending it's not there. Ferdinand is going to spend the next 7 years being gently, persistently, immovably confronted by the one thing in the cosmos more stubborn than he is. Exhibit B. Venus leaves Cancer and enters Leo June 13th. Ferdinand's ruling planet, the planet that governs how he loves, what he values, and where he finds beauty and comfort, leaves Cancer, where she was soft, nurturing, and domestic, and walks into Leo, where she's loud, visible, and asking for attention. Ferdinand hates this. Not because Leo is bad, because Leo is everything Ferdinand isn't. Venus in Leo wants to be seen. Ferdinand wants to be left alone. Venus in Leo wants applause. Ferdinand wants a nap. Venus in Leo wants grand gestures. Ferdinand wants the same meal he's had every Tuesday for 6 years. His own planet is embarrassing him, and it's happening right before Chiron arrives. So Ferdinand is already off balance. His comfort source has moved somewhere uncomfortable, and then the wounded healer knocks on the door. The timing is not an accident. Exhibit C. Mars in Taurus through most of June. Mars square Pluto, late May energy carrying into early June. Mars has been sitting in Taurus for weeks before Chiron arrives. Mars is drive, action, aggression. The planet that says do something, and it's been sitting in the sign that says no. That tension has been building. Mars square Pluto is a power struggle. The question is simple: who is in charge? And for Ferdinand, that question always has the same answer. He is. He's in charge. He's not moving. He's not changing. He's not giving ground. End of discussion. But here's what the court needs Ferdinand to understand. Pluto doesn't lose power struggles. Pluto transforms them. Pluto doesn't ask you to move. Pluto changes the ground you're standing on until staying still is no longer an option. Ferdinand has been white-knuckling his position all month, and he's about to find out that the thing he was holding on to has already changed shape underneath him. One more thing the court wants on the record. This is not a June problem. This is a 7-year sentence the cosmos just handed down. Chiron enters Taurus on June 19th, retrogrades back into Aries in September, and then returns to Taurus for good in April of 2027, and it stays until 2033. The court is not asking Ferdinand to heal in June. The court is not that cruel. The court is informing Ferdinand that the healing has begun, whether he consented to it or not. The wound is no longer background noise. It's the new roommate. And the roommate is not leaving. The roommate does not care that Ferdinand was here first. The roommate is going to sit in Ferdinand's favorite chair, eat Ferdinand's food, and ask Ferdinand questions he's been avoiding since before he can remember. Ferdinand's only choice is how he responds. He can fight it, and he will, because he's Taurus. Or he can sit down next to the thing that scares him and find out it's been trying to help this whole time. The court has reviewed the evidence. Ferdinand is found guilty of a refusal to submit to cosmic healing, guilty of chronic immovability in the presence of necessary change, guilty of emotional trespassing by sitting on a wound and calling it a chair, and guilty of contempt of cosmic court, ongoing, as always. Ferdinand is hereby sentenced to the following. Name one thing that isn't working anymore, not out loud, not to anyone. Ferdinand doesn't have to tell a soul. He just has to stop pretending he doesn't know, because he knows. He's known for a while. He just decided that knowing and doing something about it are two different things, and he's only obligated to do the first one. The court is informing him that the grace period on that logic has expired. The defendant is further ordered to let one thing go. One thing. Not everything. Not the whole structure. One brick. Remove one brick from the wall and see if the building falls. It won't, but Ferdinand will never believe that until he tries it. And the court reminds the defendant that refusing to look at a wound does not make it heal, it makes it scar. And scar tissue is harder than skin. It protects, yes, but it doesn't feel anything anymore. And Ferdinand did not come here to stop feeling. He came here to stop hurting. Those are not the same thing. This case is closed. Court adjourned.